Hey guys, today I'm here with a very special guest. His name is Jon Walker. Some people know his brother, Jeff Walker. I've been telling a lot about Jeff. You guys know that Jeff is one of my heroes. Jon is responsible, together with Jeff, as a partner, for more than well over $40 million in launches for his own products and some other launches that he actually took part and got involved in. Jon is one of the greatest minds in the launching business that actually is right there doing stuff, and I'm very lucky to have Jon here to share a little bit of his expertise in these years of launching and years of success online. Hi Jon, how are you doing, sir?
Hi Erico.
Thanks for being here and taking the time to share something with my audience in Brazil.
Of course.
Yes. And Jon, can you tell a little bit of how did you came into this online launching business?
Well, I actually started publishing online in 1998, and actually Jeff and I started two different websites over a period of time. One in the late 90s in 1998.
1998.
1998.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
Yeah, early days, the dark ages of the internet, right? And we created a site. As you are familiar, Jeff used to be in the trading space, selling information and products about the trading and markets and stock markets. And I was in corporate sales for a bunch of years at that time, and maybe 10, 11 years. And then I had a separation of a company, and I got a severance, and I decided to take a little time off. And at that time, Jeff had an idea for a type of site, and it came to me, and he said, "Hey, I got this idea of a site I want to build, but I don't really have the time." And I had some time, so we built a site and we put it online, and made money from day one. And so that was my earliest exposure of actually starting to figure out how to make money online.
And that was in 1998.
That was in 1998. And a funny thing about that site is we actually had a site where we published free information. We had no customers. All of our material was free. We had no product, but we were able to generate money and revenue and income from the site.
How come?
Well, we did it primarily through affiliate sales. We did do some advertising sales where we had a newsletter where we sold some ads in our newsletter. And again, this was so early that there were so many companies and sites that were not online that wanted to be online. They were looking for places to advertise and get their message out. So with our newsletter, we were able to do that. And so that was my earliest exposure to doing online business.
And how did you come from there to what you are right now? Well over is it accurate to say $40 million in launches?
It's probably closer to 50 of actual launches where I've been involved, either our product launch formula launches or launches I've consulted with or partners I've helped with. It's probably closer to 50 million.
Okay.
But this is like pretty well involved, not like just so I know about them. But
oh yeah. And how, when did you actually step into be involved with these launches and actually sometimes managing, sometimes being a strategic partner?
Yeah, so it was interesting because Jeff and I did a couple of these sites, and they worked okay. They didn't stick around, let's put it that way. They weren't long-term sustainable businesses because for whatever reason, lack of experience or marketing conditions. But after Jeff published Product Launch Formula in 2005, he had lots of people want help with how to take Product Launch Formula and actually get coaching and consulting on how to put it in place. And
like doing for them?
Yeah, helping them with their launches, right. And so he told me one day, literally around the phone talking, and he said, "I've got about 20 people who have called me who want me to help them with their launch, and I have never called any of them back." And
that's Jeff.
That is Jeff, because he had never been in any kind of sales. He had never done any kind of consulting. That's why he developed Product Launch Formula, because he didn't know how to sell face-to-face. He figured out how to do it online. Meanwhile, I had been doing face-to-face sales by that time for about 18 or 19 years. I know when somebody calls you and says, "I want you to do this for me," they're a red-hot prospect, And when you get 20 of them, that means there's a demand.
Yeah.
So that's what I said. I said, well, that sounds like an opportunity to me. And then so we started talking about how we could put together a consulting model. And about 6 months later, Jeff got an email from a very well-known publisher in the direct mail space and offline space, and they wanted to do a launch, and they wanted help with it. And that was the catalyst to get us working together and start a consulting business together.
So basically you went there and work on other people's launch.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Now, in conjunction with that, that was mean I was going to be leaving the corporate space. So in addition to doing the consulting business, I came on board to start helping Jeff with managing all his joint venture partners and affiliates.
And are you still in consulting right now? So do you still consulting for other people's launches?
Not really. Jeff definitely isn't doing any consulting. I really have done it very rarely. It's for Jeff, it just makes sense to focus on the publishing business. And I've done it from time to time, but it's very exclusive that I would do it with any kind of private clients.
Awesome. And what is your role right now? I mean, one of your main roles right now on these launches.
So primarily, my main role,
or the company itself.
Yeah, one of my primary roles is to work directly with our joint venture partners and our affiliates, to maintain relationships with them, to develop new partners, to work with partners and help them position how they will promote product launch formula to their list, how they can message it, maybe if they're going to offer a bonus, that whole sequence. Help them structure a affiliate sequence for promoting product launch formula.
Awesome. And that's one of the reasons why I actually was so excited to have you here, because you, for me, you are the man with respect to how to get people to promote you. How to get people would be misexpressing myself. So how to involve others in the possibility of actually promoting. And you are also the one guy that people come, because you manage your partnerships, I suppose.
Yes.
And people, when someone wants to be promoted by Jeff and you,
right,
or your company, they would come to you.
They come to me. They don't actually ask Jeff. They come to me.
They come to you because we all know in the industry that you are the one managing this. And the one thing is that, first of all, I would like to get a little bit of your brain, because probably we are here in front of one guy that actually know this, in my opinion, better than anyone else that I know. So how do you get, for people out there, how do you get people, the top players, to promote your launch or your ventures?
So
what is the secret?
I think what's important for people to remember and to understand is that other people in your space, they're not standing around waiting for you to call them up or walk up and have a conversation with them and ask you to promote them, or ask you to promote them, right? They're busy, they're running their own business. And what I know in our partners, in our key relationships of the people that have promoted for us and the people that we promote for, of all our top partners, it started out with a relationship first. Unless there was a relationship developed, then there's no transaction on doing business together.
So first of all, develop a relationship.
Right.
And how?
You just start talking to them. You go to the bar with them. If you don't drink, you can go have a Coke or something, but you have to spend some time with them. You have to start to understand their business and what are they working on. Like I said, no one's standing around waiting for you to approach them and ask them to promote. So you have to understand, where are they at in their business, what do they have going on, what's their big initiatives, what are their projects, how can you help them, can you add some value to what they're already trying to accomplish, right? So if you go into every conversation with a potential partner and not view them as a potential partner, but view them as how you can add value to their business in some way, whether it's providing them with content, whether it's offering a suggestion on a marketing strategy they can employ. Maybe it's something that you've done in your business that you think might be useful for them that you've learned. Like take the best thing you've learned in the last 3 months in testing in your business and just share it with them, right? Or if you really want to get on their radar, you promote for them, and that's then they'll know who the heck you are.
And wow, okay, because I get a lot of that, like, hey Erico, I'm just launching, could you please promote my launch, and schedule is not easy.
No.
So yeah, so few people actually come and actually, and it's just one thing that you say, it's not just not all about promoting you, it's actually just for promote's sake, but actually creating value. That's a good thing. What else would you tell them?
Well, they're actually, when it comes to creating relationships and business relationships, there's more than just promoting for each other. There could be an exchange of content. Maybe you can just ask them, if you find somebody that has a relevant program and you see a gap in their program that you can help fill with your content, is there some way that you can just provide them with some free content to help, or ask them if they'd like to interview you just to provide value for their list? Now, what that's actually also going to do is it's going to introduce their list to you. So
yes.
it's a secondary benefit for you, but the primary thing you should be going for there is providing them with the value. So there are different levels of relationships that exist. Maybe you do a blog guest blog post for them. There's all kinds of ways of working. Maybe you introduce them to somebody else in your market that's a good fit for them. So there are different ways and methods that you can add value or partnership in some way that doesn't just mean promoting for each other.
Yes, and that's a good point. This is the different values. And one thing that I actually sometimes would like to talk about is that there tends to be certain levels of players in the market.
Sure.
There's always people that are perceived as the A players, then
Yes.
they're perceived the B players, and there's the C
Absolutely.
players.
Yes.
And if you were a C player and you're here in the US, so imagine someone is a C player in the US.
Yes.
How do they actually move up the ladder to become an A player and get not just the C players to promote? How do they actually move up the levels?
Right.
And how would one here would do so that they get to the top level, which is actually what, in my opinion, you guys are.
Yeah. So I think you have to start where you're at, whether you're a C player or a D player or whatever. In terms of getting other people to promote for you, you're probably going to need to start at the level you're at, but then you're going to need to start promoting for the people at the level above you, right? So if you're a C player and you're going to do a launch, ideally look for other C players. And if you can develop relationships and add value in advance, and there's a strong reason for you to ask a B player to promote, then that's one thing to consider. But more than likely, you're going to need to promote for the B and A players first, and then look to provide value, provide good conversions on your launch, and help them earn income from promoting by promoting their launch. And then, at some point you can look to ask for them to promote back. But I think you have to start where you're at in terms of asking people to promote for you, promote for the other people above you, and again, where you can add value to those people above you and further the relationship. What's also happens is that even though there are people at those different tiers, they know people at the different levels above and below. And there are going to be people that are C tier,
like the A players know the B players know the C players.
And same way above those. C players know B players.
Yes.
And B players know A players. So, and it may well be that a C player can introduce you to a B player, right? Or there might be a good fit for you to work with a B player, but you can't get directly to them, but you can get there through a C player.
Awesome. Right. So like moving.
Yeah. The other thing to pay attention to is within your market, who is promoting for each other. Like, pay attention. So you got this, player C over here and player B over here and player A. Well, who's helping one another? Start keeping track of who's promoting for each other.
Why is that important?
Well, I think you can start to see where the relationships lay, because then if you want to get to that B player, but you see that a C player promoted for him, you know that there's a relationship. Or if you see a B player promoted for a C player, you know there's a relationship there. So maybe you can approach that C player and ask for an introduction or connection to the B player.
Wow. That's pretty awesome intelligence, actually. I really like that.
Yeah. It's
awesome.
Market intelligence is really what it is.
It is.
And it comes from time. It takes time. This whole thing is about steps. You know, there's baby steps to it, and it takes time. And
So it's a long-term strategy rather than
absolutely.
okay.
And that's the other thing to think about is, like, how can I over deliver to my partners? Like, you promise them this, maybe you even give them something extra. The other thing that's important to remember is everything's a deal. Like, even though you can have a standard type of an agreement with most of your promotional partners and affiliates, nothing's stopping you from creating something custom. If you have somebody you really are looking to attract, you can put together whatever type of incentive you want, right?
Okay, there's nothing written on stone actually.
Right, exactly.
Okay, and I know your time is pretty limited, and I want to thank you for being here. But before you go, can you actually tell one mistake that people usually do when they are trying to attract new partners? Is there anything that comes to mind, a mistake that people tend to do that will make more difficult for them to get a new partnership or to get someone to promote you?
I really think it does primarily come from asking people too early before you've developed a relationship, before you've established a value to somebody else, before you provided value to them. You know, that seems to be it. People are just, they walk into relationships and conversations with everything that they want to blurt out and everything they want to ask without listening first and you know, figuring out how can I help them, how can I help the other person first. Like, go into every conversation, how can I deliver value, how can I help them, and don't think about, gee, how can I get them to promote for me.
Awesome. Jon, thank you very much for your participation, for great insights, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, Jon Walker.